I've decided to make a revision video about Imtiaz Dharker's poem Tissue. The reason why I'm doing this is because this is a really hard poem to learn about, and teachers find it quite difficult to teach the students as well. And the reason why that is because it's an abstract poem, but it's not very literal, so it doesn't really tell a story, it doesn't tell us about people or things. It's much more metaphorical. It uses imagery and what's called motifs, which is a series of metaphors to get across quite complicated ideas about life. So that's the reason why I've decided to make this video, because I think it might be helpful to students just to talk through some of the key ideas within it. One of the first things I'd like you to think about with Tissue is the title. The poem's title is so important because it's the first thing you see when you read a poem, and it gives people who read it an idea what the poem's about, what the writer's trying to tell you, how you start to interpret a poem right from the beginning, so it is important. So why did Imtiaz Dharker choose the title Tissue? Well, tissue is important to human beings. Whenever we cry, we use a tissue to wipe away the tears, so it's connected to our emotions that way. As animals, as creatures, we are made up of tissue, of living tissue. So that's another way that you can interpret the title. And tissue could also refer to paper. That's something that Imtiaz Dharker talks about a lot within this poem, this idea of paper and its importance. So what I'd really like you to do, if you can, is get a piece of paper and just think about what you use paper for every single day within your life. Especially as a student at school, you probably have a lot of exercise books and you're writing in your books every minute of every hour of every single day. Lots of different ideas for every single subject that you do. So all those new ideas that you're learning about, those new things that you're learning about every single day, you're writing them down. And especially in year 10 and year 11, you'll be going back over the things you've previously written, and you'll be revising with those ideas that you've written down. So a piece of paper looks simple, it is a simple thing, but you write down all your ideas on it, and you can read those ideas. You could write down something now and you could go back to it in 20 or 30 years time, and you can read it again, you can interpret it. So that idea that you had then, you can go back and read about it again. So paper is really powerful because it's a way of us being able to communicate to other people our ideas, our thoughts and feelings, but also it's about memory as well, about who you are and part of your identity. You can go back to paper and you can see the things that you thought about and the way you felt, and you can make a comparison to the way you feel now compared to the past. So paper is really important in society, and that's what I think this poem is getting at, that paper, it seems so simple, and yet it's so powerful in how it can impact on our lives.